Good morning, folks, and welcome to That's My Farm. I'm Michaela DeMott, your guest host, and I am here in Leavenworth, Kansas at the New Haven Angus Ranch. Stay tuned for Brandon New to talk about his Angus herd, operation, and some of the technologies he has incorporated here on the ranch. Stay with us, and we'll be back after these messages from our sponsors.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Good morning and welcome to That's My Farm. I'm Michaela DeMott, your guest host, and I'm here in Leavenworth, Kansas with Brandon New on the New Haven Angus Ranch. To start off, the New Haven Angus Ranch started in the 50s. Tell me how that came about.
You know, Grandpa, it's where we're at, is my granddad's place. My brother lives here right now. He dairied and he bred all of his Holstein heifers to Angus bulls. Well, Dad, got an affinity for Angus cattle and bought his first 4-H project in 1952 and has since kind of exploded or expanded to where we are now, running several hundred cows and having a production sale in the end of March.
Great, so tell me what kind of operation you run here.
We're a seed stock operation. We supply bulls to the commercial cattlemen here in mainly northeast Kansas. Northwest Missouri is kind of our main market, and we do sell a few females, Angus pairs in our sale, registered cows, and then we also sell some commercial females in that sale as well.
So individually, what is your background and how did you become to take over this operation?
Well, that's probably goes back to cow checking Saturdays with my dad, riding around in the feed truck, drinking orange juice and eating donuts. Looking back on it is probably the time with my dad I enjoyed the most, but his love and passion for Angus cattle is that's where that came from. And he tells people a lot of times that I'm probably living his dream more than I'm living my own dream here on the farm. We had those conversations in high school. What do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do? And it was always natural, and what I always wanted to do, showing cattle in 4-H and being in the American Angus Association, showing cattle, I wanted to come back to the farm. It was always natural for me, I thought. And so I went to K-State, got my degree, and came home in May of '03, and I guess Dad threw me the keys and said, have at it.
So you talked about that you're kind of living your dad's dream. Tell me what that looks like and how that's kind of different from what he was doing in the past.
Right, with me coming back to the farm, we kind of had to take some steps to, create some viability. We're getting ready to have our 17th annual sale. But we didn't always have a production sale. We started with a little private treaty bull sale up here with portable panels and just kind of a few of the neighbors coming over and like 25 bulls. And at this point, we're selling between 60 and 70 bulls every year. And granted, not all of them through our production sale. I'm selling about 55 or so bulls through our production sale, and then another 15 to 20 bulls after that is private treaty sales.
Is that the main difference between, or I guess why public sales versus the private treaty?
Well, I think there's a greater chance for a higher income by having a sale. You're going to get more money for your better animals. From a private treaty standpoint, we're probably going to have a lower ceiling in terms of price, but we're going to have a higher floor. In an auction, I mean, it's no holds bar. I mean, what they bring when the gavel drops, that's what you're going to get paid for.
Okay, great, thank you. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. A high-energy, drought-tolerant crop, sorghum only requires 6 inches of water to produce the first bushel. And with its wide uses and easy adaptation, sorghum proves to be a truly indispensable crop. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities, big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. I'm Michaela DeMott, your guest host, here with Brandon New at New Haven Angus. So what is your philosophy behind your Angus operation?
Well, it's pretty simple. I focus on maternal genetics here. My thoughts are a good cow is going to bring in a big calf at weaning time, whether it be spring or fall. To add to that, in my bull market here in northeast Kansas, northwest Missouri, and surrounding areas, a large percentage of the guys that buy bulls from me have off-farm jobs. So kind of the first criteria that they look for is calving ease. They want to go to work knowing that when they come home, that cow's going to be able to have a calf. That's number one. Now, obviously, we can expound on that with my maternal genetics that I breed my cows for. I want fertile cows that are going to calve in a 60-day period, going to calve AI, and then obviously bring in a big calf. But docility is a big thing. We need docile cattle. Udder scores need to be great, and we need to have good feet for these cattle. They can't get out and graze on grass if they don't have good feet and good structure.
So what does your cattle herd look like when it comes to your bulls, heifers, and cows?
As far as like numbers
Sure,
or...
just any kind of specifics behind them.
Well, we've got about 250 cows. About 150 of them will calve in the fall, and we'll calve the rest of them out in the spring, January and February. We'll typically calve 60 to 70 heifers, first calf heifers every year, whether it be spring or fall. And then, like I said, we'll sell about 60 or 70 bulls annually. With my philosophy too is, we make a lot of hay. We spend a lot of time all summer making hay. I try to stockpile a lot of grass, and I can, open a gate a lot easier than I can spend all summer making hay, burning diesel, wrenching on stuff, and then, frankly, spending all winter feeding it when they can go out and do it a lot cheaper than I can.
So you do have hay ground then?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
About how many acres do you run here?
Well, between owned ground and leased ground, we're sure, 1,200 acres, put up several hundred acres of hay and have just kind of enough farm ground to keep the pit silo full for bull development every year.
So when it comes to your sale here in March, what's the outlook for that?
Well, I think that's hard to tell. I mean, last year was so good for everybody. Everything was really good last year as far as prices. We've got a few less bulls because I said we flipped a bunch of our cows into the fall calving deal. So this is kind of my down year as far as bull numbers. That being said, my quality is really good. They're really, really deep set of bulls. But as far as I'd need a couple weeks of seeing some bull sale reports to really say this is what they're going to do. I don't think they'll be like it was last year, but I don't think it'll be too far off. As far as I think it'll be a little softer.
Do you have your bull sale here on your ranch?
Yeah, we do the video auction.
Okay.
We just have them right up there in front of that gray barn right there where we were at earlier trying to film.
Great, thank you. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Now another gardening tip with Annette Jackson.
For the greenest, healthiest, weed-free lawn in your neighborhood, the Fertilome Lawn Care program is the best. Fertilome Lawn Care products provide your lawn with the exact ingredients for proper fertilization and weed prevention. Jackson's friendly staff will call you and let you know when to apply the next step. We can also do it for you, so call or stop in now.
The Fertilome Lawn Care program is still available at last year's prices, but hurry, time is limited.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Good morning and welcome to That's My Farm. I'm Michaela DeMott back in Leavenworth, Kansas with Brandon New. First off, what do you look for in a bull that is a potential AI sire?
Well, I think there's several things that I tend to look for when it comes to an AI sire. Number one, I spend a lot of time on the phone talking with folks, trying to get calf reports and seeing, hey, how are you mating this sire group, or how are you mating this sire group, what's working, what's not working. But to go back to the specifics on an AI sire, you know, obviously I like an outcross genetic, something that's different than what I've got. I don't want to sit there and line breed everything real close. I look for something outcross, because we're going to get more performance out of them, number one. But you know, disposition is big. You know, I try to stay away from genetic lines that have, you know, that aren't as calm as others. But like I said earlier, you know, cavities, that's a big deal in this part of the world. We want cattle that are slick-haired. Being on fescue, you know, we don't want a lot of hair on these cattle in the summertime. You know, phenotypically they got to be made right. I mean, their structure's got to be right, their feet got to be right, they've got to be good, come from cows that are good uddered, you know, big-bodied cows with a lot of mass and performance in them. I mean, there's a litany of things that I look for. I mean, they all got to kind of cross them off, and a majority of those boxes. And now we know they're not every bull's going to cross every box off for us. So when we use a bull, he's probably going, you know, we might need some more performance, or we might need a shot of muscle in a sire group on a certain set of cows. So we'll use this bull on those cows to add that, and knowing that we're going to sacrifice a few other things.
So you do artificial insemination here on the ranch.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more in depth what goes into that, just some things behind it.
Yeah, I mean, we try to be pretty progressive and pretty hard, you know, get after it pretty quick. We will synchronize every cow or heifer for that breeding period. We try to get at least everything AI'd at least twice. If they don't settle the first time, we try to check rebreeds, and then we kick them out with herd bulls, either something that I've raised that's really, really exceptional, or something that I've bought, and then they get 30 days with a herd bull. So, you know, I like to calve in 60 days and have it done and over with. But, you know, I have one employee, my herdsman, that works with me every day. He and I can both AI, so we'll synchronize a lot of cattle to breed in, you know, 2 or 3 days, and we'll get it done. And then it's just a matter of checking reheats at that point. My dad and my brother, they do help on nights and weekends a little bit, but for the most part, it's me and my herdsman.
Awesome, great, thank you. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher, leaving more time to tend to other vital tasks on the farm. To learn more, visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn. For livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Good morning and welcome back to That's My Farm. I'm Michaela DeMott, your guest host back here at the New Haven Angus Ranch with Brandon New. What are some technologies you have incorporated here at your ranch?
Right on. We do quite a bit. You know, obviously AI, we've been doing that for an awful long time. We've been doing a lot of ET work, embryo transfer work. We do a little of the 50K, HD 50K testing. And we do, you know, obviously we have an website, just like everybody else out there anymore. But we also, when it comes to our sale, we video all the cattle selling. We don't run them through the barn, and we just do it on TVs. And then, you know, we can put those videos on our website. I've always got guys right before the sale, hey, when are the videos going to be up? I need the videos. I want to see such and such a bull on. Guys, I'm working on it. We'll get them. And then new to this year, we're actually going to broadcast the sale online, and so we'll give that a shot. Hopefully it pays for itself. Expand a little bit more on the blood testing aspect you do here. You know, we do a little, just a little bit. We don't do them all by any stretch of the imagination. I'll do 5 or 6 of my better end bulls every year on the 50K, and it's just a measurement within the breed to see where they rank as far as, you know, all of their EPD tabulations as far as like calving ease direct and birth weight and weaning weight and yearling weight, where they rank in the breed. And it also gives them a little higher proof on their accuracies of their EPDs. So instead of having a 0.05, they'll be at about 0.35 as far as accuracy. So a little bit more of a known product when you sell them. So going off of the whole EPD thing, explain that a little bit for our viewers who might not know. Well, EPD is an expected progeny difference, and it's just a way for, as breeders or commercial cattlemen, to compare cattle from herds. You know, we use ratios to compare cattle within a herd. EPDs are across herds. So I can compare my cattle to somebody in Nebraska or Montana or California or even Canada. So, what are some performance measurements that you do when your cattle are young? We take birth weights when they're born, weaning weights at 205, and then yearling weights at 365. To add to that, we also, on the bulls at a year of age, we take a scrotal measurement, and then we also take ultrasound measurements, so get the marbling ribeye and fat thickness at a year of age. How do you rely on the American Angus Association to help you here on your ranch? You know, they do a lot of stuff for us. You know, I think the big thing is they help us market our cattle. I mean, that's what they're there for. But they're also the keepers of all the data, all these birth weights and weaning weights and all these millions and millions of records that not only me but other breeders have turned in that help make these EPDs and make them as true as what they are. But also they have a media department, API. They build my catalog. They have helped me with my website, all things Angus. And they do a lot for us. And they have regional managers that are what they term the go-between between the office and us. And so Jeff is a big resource for me, and a lot of times I'll end up texting or calling him with questions, and he'll give me a straight out honest answer what he thinks I ought to do. Great. Thank you, Brandon. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotating cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. And I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Good morning and welcome back to That's My Farm. I'm Michaela DeMott, your guest host, here with Brandon New. To start off, what challenges have you faced since you have
Right. Yeah,
been a part of this?
I think the big one would be the drought there, 4 or 5 years ago. That was hard. But, increasing input costs, fertilizer, fuel, corn. Corn goes up, distiller's grain goes up. So, it just all my inputs go up. And then, when corn goes up, we've had a lot of pasture ground, good hay ground get broken up, so we're losing the ability to even have a chance at some pasture or hay ground that's close. It's, being farmed right now.
Do you have some plans and preparation things in place for challenges like that?
Oh, probably no, not like I should. To be right honest with you, we kind of attack these things as they happen. I just know that I've changed the way I kind of manage our cows as far as how we feed them. And like I stated earlier, I want those cows to do more. We stockpile the grass, and they can do it easier and cheaper than I can. Make hay and feed hay. I try to let those cows do more of that. We try to make a little less hay. That way, we don't need a new baler as often, and we don't need quite as good equipment to, cut down on some of those higher overhead costs that typically we would see.
So you mentioned some changes you've made. What are some changes you've seen here on the ranch over time since you've taken over?
Well, not to toot my own horn, but the cattle are better.
Yeah.
They're a lot better, and they're bringing in bigger, stouter calves every weaning period. My conception rates are better. I have less opens. We're getting more performance in our bulls. We're getting more muscle in them, and still keeping them, for the most part, very much oriented towards a Cavanese product, but still having the pounds and the power and the performance to sire good heavy feeder steers.
So as far as this ranch has come since you've taken over, how do you see it in the future?
Well, I don't know. I think we're going to kind of stay going down the same path that we're headed. I don't know if any of my kids will ever want to come back to the farm. Ground around here is pretty expensive. That's going to be their call. I'm not going to push them one way or the other, but I'm for sure going to raise my kids in a good ag background, and I'm just going to kind of keep staying the course and doing my thing here in Leavenworth County as long as I can.
Great, thank you, Brandon. Thank you for watching That's My Farm. I've been visiting with Brandon New here in Leavenworth, Kansas at the New Haven Angus farm. Stay tuned next week for the next episode of That's My Farm.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.